Because I got to the gym today.
Get out of the way.
The side effect is that what happens
lean, mean muscle machine.
when you combine the nutrition and the training. What happens is the side effect is you're looking
What's the
good.
side effect? Let me move away.
Yeah, here's the
Jeez
side effect.
Louise.
You see, this is the biceps. You got a little separation for the
So
tricep.
we got the tricep and
That's
bicep
right,
split.
that's
We
right,
got the
that's right.
long head of the tricep coming all the way down
got
the
the
full bicep.
Let me turn this
And,
way.
and then we got the shoulder
Yeah,
coming
there you
through.
go. I'm not shy.
Nice. I'm not shy.
Hi, Johnny.
Hello, how you guys doing?
I'm doing good. I feel super energetic today. I think it was the Hercules portion that I did. I don't know what it is.
Nutrition, training, and then that Hercules potion just that's gonna put you over
Kind
the
of kicked
top.
in. I got that pump, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yep.
How you guys doing today out there? How's everything?
It is great. We were just talking about, I wanted people to understand, people don't realize that if the nutrition is taken care of and it's really healthy, that's a great way to maintain the physique that you have. And then you can stimulate it by going to the gym, by doing other things, by doing cardio or sports that will stimulate it even more so. But Mona hasn't trained in the last month. And I was trying to explain that even though she's at the stage she is, the reason she can maintain it is because her nutrition is on point, is because her body is functioning at 100%, because she knows where her blood work is and what her markers are, and keeps that at a nice, healthy level, being a fit, closing in on 50. I know you hate me saying
year.
that.
I know, big year this year.
Again, it's not the old school 50, it's the new school 50. So it's like the superheroes. It's the the Brad Pitts. It's all these kind of people now.
It's amazing that this shit still works. You go to the gym and you stay looking. Yeah, look at that. It kind of works.
Yeah, I mean, approaching 50. I know that you don't like saying the age, but that really makes it that much better. Because if you're gonna be
I think it's me that doesn't like it. I think she's okay with it. It's me that's that's the age guy. I'm sensitive.
He's sensitive even with the dogs. He's like, how old is your dog? If the dog is 10, he's like 6. I'm like, okay.
That is me 100%.
I used to joke with Cherise. I used to tell her expiration dates, and your expiration date's 30.
Yeah.
You didn't like that too much. I'm like, that's all right. I'll keep you around. I like the expired version of you. It's okay.
We get the same joke.
Yeah. Same joke going on in this house. Yeah,
I'm turning her in for 2 25-year-olds.
As long as they could pick up dog shit and they could clean the house, I'm good.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's the strong points for sure. It's so true though. Like as you age, especially, like, you got to make sure nutrition's there, and if you can definitely line that up, and you can line that up early, you're going to set yourself up for success. Not only for success in your body, the way that it looks, but the way that your body runs, and the health of your body too as well. So that's the important things to really take away from it. I mean, you can get somebody who looks like $1 million on the outside. On the inside, it's not too good. So at that point, like, it's really about what's going on the inside, and then that usually will reflect on the outside. But it's like putting like they make like these project cars, and they make a Lamborghini on the outside, and it looks like the body of a Lamborghini, literally. And the inside, it might be just some whack little car that's driving around. You're looking like, man, it's a Lamborghini that's driving. And you get in, and it's like, this ain't a Lamborghini the way this drives and how slow it is. So, you got to make sure that all those things are there for sure. I think that's the importance. I mean, health is number one importance over everything.
Now, you're too young to remember this, but back in I think it was the 80s or 90s, there came out a kit car. So the VW Bug is a great car, good engine and stuff like that, but they would remove the top and put like a sports car body on it, but it was like fiberglass or something like this. It was a time. Do you remember those
kit cars? That's what they were. They're kit cars. And
so it's great because you got this nice looking car, and it's like, okay, but it's it's a simple engine, and I don't want nobody to be that. out there. I would rather, and I understand this. I understand when you're 20 and you're in college and you can have the pizza and skip and party and enjoy and you don't change and the body stays looking good. That does change in life.
It does.
And I wish people would understand that. And so, you're not 20 no more. You're going to have to change those habits by the time you get to 30 and 40.
Right.
Yeah. And, as you get older, you also have to change how your life is going. You have to change your workouts. You have to change your nutrition. Your body doesn't work the same. You have to do peptides because you feel sore. You feel aches and pains, and it's like, oh, I need that, TB 500, that BPC 157. You want to feel healthy. So it's a lot of things that take place once you go, towards 50. For me, anyway, I've noticed things that I've never noticed before. I just woke up the other day and out of my sleep, I don't work out, like you said, and my back was not good, like my lower back. I'm like, I don't do anything. What do I do? I just twist while I was sleeping. It's just so crazy. Yeah, it's so crazy. So things just pop up.
See, this is a good opening. She could have said it was me or something, right?
There you go.
But that's
break out
that's not true.
All right.
Salute.
The thing about it is, though, too, is like, you don't compare age. You should say like, I look better than everybody, right? Or whatever it is. But usually people compare ages. And then when you start comparing ages, like, all right, well, if Mona's approaching 50, put her against some 20 or 30-year-olds, she's going to smoke their ass, because the way that they look these days, I mean, it just is what it is. They're all thick, and that's the look they're going for. But then that turns into fat very shortly if it's not fat already. So, it's crazy. I think the standard is going to change back too as well, where, in the standard, I think in the 80s, it was like really, really, people were starting to get into fitness. People really started to want that look. 90s was there, right? 2000s a little bit. And then we started going down. And then we went down to like the past 8 years where, you go into Victoria's Secrets and
don't go there. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Right. The dummy is wearing, the dummy looks like a pregnant woman, and that's supposed to be what the natural look of a woman's supposed to look like nowadays. And then, all guys are big and tall as far as that goes, because, it's crazy. And then saying that fat is healthy.
What is it, like 5 years ago, I started seeing the Heath Evans dummies at the group and the man stores. You got the thick build and the stomach.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Heath, I see you here.
you're putting these women on magazines. What Sports Illustrated did a couple of years ago, I think, where they put an overweight chick on the magazine, and that's what the sexy is supposed to look like. And we all damn know that ain't what sexy looks like. I mean, that's one thing. It's like, we got to be honest with ourselves. I mean, nobody wants to look fat.
Let's go with this. Let's go. Their argument. Their argument is, okay, that is sexy. All right, so maybe there are some people that find that sexy.
Sure.
But let's stay at the fact and the root of this. Is it healthy? No. And that's the point. Is everybody that's out there that goes, well, I'm heavy, I'm this, I'm that. It's like, okay, that's cool and stuff, but are you healthy? And if you can maintain a body fat of 30 or 40% and be healthy, congratulations. I don't know many people that can do that.
No.
So at the end of the day, I'm joking about Heath Evans, but they are doing this push for this. Hey, it doesn't matter what you look like. It's beautiful. Okay, but it's not healthy. And your point was great. You said that, okay, right. She hasn't trained in a month, this, that, and the other thing. But she was doing incline dumbbells with 60s and 70s today. And I'm sitting there going, dude, that's a lot of dudes. A couple of my buddies were taking me on posts yesterday. They were doing incline dumbbells with 90s. And I'm like, dude, you're 25 and 240 pounds doing 90s. And she's over here. It's like
embarrassing them.
Yeah. I want that healthiness for all of you.
Sure.
For everybody out there. I want you to be healthy and strong.
I mean, be healthy and live strong. That should be the motto. I mean, for sure, 100%. It just is what it is. I mean, when you're healthier, you can do a lot more. We talk about this all the time. Right? You can be better in all different ways if you're healthier. Everything's going to be better. Attitude's going to be better. Energy is going to be better. Thinking your mindset, the way you feel about yourself is going to be better. And that's what it should be about. Having to lie to yourself and say, oh, I like the way that I look and it looks like this and it may not look good. You could say that and say like, listen, I accept the way that I am. That's totally agreeable. But then it goes back to the health factor. And then if you say, well, I just did my labs and look healthy. Oh, all right, cool. You're 23 years old and you're healthy and you're obese. What happens down the road when you stay like this and it keeps progressively going like this? That's the problem, right? It might not be right this second, but it's later on down the road. And people don't usually plan for that and people don't really care. That's why a lot of people just go about their business. We have more education than ever about what we're intaking in our body, what we're doing, right? From alcohol to processed foods, all across the spectrum. And we still deny the fact that, hey, listen, we're intaking this. It's like, well, I've been doing it for so long anyway. Well, if you've been drinking rat poison every day and then you found out it was rat poison, I guarantee you'd stop drinking rat poison. But since it doesn't say rat poison on the marketing, on the packaging, because it's so pretty, you just don't accept it. Or you want to deny it, right? And we're in a period of denial in so many ways. So it's just everything I've seen. I've seen a lot more of it today. And I'm in North Carolina, so I'm in a different area. And it's I don't know. It's a little disheartening, kind of what I see out here, especially.
Right.
But I think that a lot of people need to wake up. I think a lot of people are waking up. I think a lot of people are getting more education about what they need to do with themselves, and we're trying to help people too as well, from nutrition to balancing hormones to making sure that everything is right and optimal in your body, and that you're going forth and having a great quality of life, because we're here for a short time. So really, really cool.
We have a special guest today.
Oh, really?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Would you like to introduce Renee?
what?
Come on, superstar.
Uh-oh.
So this one is off to do her thing. As she says, she doesn't have time for a sit down for an hour.
Who do we have it?
Hey.
Renee's in the house. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I see you've been out there having a busy little time, having a good time out there for sure. I'm jealous.
I'm behaving.
I'm sure. So what's going on out there?
It's good. I had to do a photo shoot out here, and then I was able to meet up with some of my friends. So I'm really happy about that. And then you get to work out with this guy.
Yeah. For sure. I seen Arnold was there. That was good.
Yeah.
She missed it today, but Arnold did a side note. Just Arnold was great today. He was sat. I think it took 15, 20 minutes of just him. If Arnold's talking to you, for us, me and Jeff and everybody, we just let him talk. And
of course.
It was a great conversation about how he's helped out the military with the gyms overseas in Afghanistan and Kuwait and stuff. And so it was a great discussion. You missed that.
Oh,
she was off going, I got to get my workout in. I'm like, I'm going to sit here and just listen to Arnold talk about whatever he wants to.
Right.
Nope. I'm there for that.
You got to be on your toes.
I like it. She's not getting distracted. Nothing's distracting you. That's good. Eye on the prize and focus. That's what it's all about too.
Yeah.
So that's definitely good. So yeah, would you guys train yesterday?
What was yesterday? Yesterday was a little shoulders. And today I got a little chest in. Well, she did some back. And she and Mona both got kind of next to each other doing a little chest and back.
Ooh.
And I think this is what we have lost is the banter.
Yeah.
What I liked is again, much younger than Mona. And the banter of Mona being in there going, let's turn this up a notch. It was nice.
Yeah.
Sure.
Both savages, obviously. And we had one other.
She called me out.
Yeah, she did.
She called me out.
Yeah. Talk about that. Talk about how.
Oh, she was like, bitch, I know you're stronger than that. I was like, why you gotta call me out, Mona?
Mona ain't gonna let you go, man. She's gonna call like she sees. I love her.
It's like, I know you're a lot stronger than this.
That'd be good though to get. You guys are savages. Two of you guys like that. That'd be pretty cool to see. That'd be some good content.
These guys,
hey.
yeah,
for sure. We definitely got to get that together. When you guys come down to Florida, Mike, I mean, we'll have to have Renee come up and we'll definitely do some shoots and stuff like that. I think that's super cool. You know, to show the savage side of women. We know Mona by herself. We know Renee by herself. We get these two together and really start getting them going. That's awesome.
Oh, I love that.
I gotta get Billy out there too.
Oh yeah.
I gotta get Billy out there because Billy is that old school college locker room mentality. And Jeff and I were talking about this today. And it was ironic that Mona and her were going at it, which I loved. But Arnold was teasing Jeff on he came over when we were warming up and stuff, and he was teasing Jeff. And then he talked about it. Do you mind just kind of giving a little 411 on what Arnold was saying?
Yeah.
I thought this was a very interesting and kind of a cool approach from Arnold. Again, Arnold to me is the GOAT.
Yeah. Are you talking about just during the warm-ups when you said do more?
Not just when he teased you, when he talked about how they would go through the gym.
Oh yeah, you will after they were doing that, he was telling me about how back in the 70s they'd be training and they would go up to each other. Like Arnold would go up to Frank Zane and say, "Oh great, you're in the middle of a set. Let's see you take your shirt off and do the set." And then Frank would take it off. And then he's still doing the step, but he's got a tank top on. And so Arnold goes, "Hey, what's going on with the tank top? Are you fat? Are you hiding something under there? Come on, take the tank top off." And then Franco would jump in and start busting his balls, and they would just keep going at it.
I love it, dude. I think it's genius, man. It's like motivation, you know. You keep pushing each other, and that's definitely good, man, for sure. I mean, like I said, a lot of people don't know that they can do something until they see somebody else do it, and they start striving to do it better. You know, somebody's got to set that standard, though, and that's what it all comes down to. And that's cool, though. I mean, to have Arnold in there,
it's a nice reality check. You know, sometimes, mostly if you got a good friend and somebody you trust and respect, they can kind of go, "Hey, you're coasting," and I see it. You may not see that you're coasting, but I see you're coasting. And that call out, like today with Mona and you, it's like, "No, I know you're stronger than that." And then she did the heavier weights, which again is great for you because then you can go back home and go, "Okay, I can up this a bit."
Yeah, I could challenge myself.
And I know for me, when training with the world's strongest man a couple weeks back, you know, it's kind of like it said, "Okay, let me check in. Let me see if I can tussle with the greatest in the world." And it's nice that you can do that. Now, I'm not saying everybody here, I'm talking to all of you. It's good to have a reality check and then somebody really saying, "Hey," and this has to do with life. This isn't just working out. This is life. You know, hey, you're coasting through life. You should up it a little bit.
Right.
What's your take on that?
Yeah, I definitely think, like I told you, progression is key. So that's always pushing yourself to be better. That's each and every single day that you get up, because we don't know how many days we got. We don't know how much time we got. So at that point, you know, the biggest thing is that, you know, taking advantage of the time that you have and making the best of it. So, you know, I think that, you know, in life, you know, you get to a certain point where, let's say, you know, you get older. As you're younger, you have dreams and you want to accomplish those dreams, and you have that dream. And that could be, let's say, you're a professional baseball player, professional wrestler. Things might not work out that way, right? And then you go into something else. And, you know, people do. They go into a career. They get stuck in their career. That's all they want to do. And that's okay for some people, right? But they should be pushing in some other way, even if it's not their career. They could push their body, right, and make their body better. And they just keep training, and that's what they focus on to be better. But for me, I focus on all aspects of life. So obviously, listen, I want my career, I want my business to be better, I want my body to be better, I want my family to be better. And everything that I do, I want it to be better. So I constantly work on myself and look at these different things and ask myself, how can I make these better? Or how can I make myself better? You know, and kind of write down those goals still, because you should keep trying to achieve goals. If you set a goal and you achieve it, you're like, great, I hit that goal. What's next? Right. And that's not to say that, you know, you have to constantly be, you know, I don't know. You don't want to be greedy about it, I guess, and say, you know, I want everything, because people say, well, isn't what you got good enough? Well, yeah, it's good enough, but that doesn't mean that I can't be better and want more, right? And get more. So, I think there's a thin line there between that. But I think that, if you stop and say, just like the guy's comment, like, what are we even doing this for? We're going to die someday, right? Well, we're doing this because we're here for a short time. We want to make it count. And I think that, people that really do want to stand out, want to set some sort of legacy for themselves and something that sticks around forever. And that doesn't have to be fame and fortune. That could be your kid and your family, because they're your legacy moving on too. But some people have goals and they want to be known forever, and they go out and do it, and they don't stop. And you got to be relentless. That's one thing. This world is not forgiving, and at that point, nobody or nothing's for free. So you got to remember that, and you got to say, listen, I'm willing to put in the hard work and the sacrifice to get where I want to go and to be where I want to be. And that's it. You never can give up. I mean, if you give up, then you're just done. So you got to kick yourself in the ass, pick yourself up, and keep moving forward, because nobody's going to do it for you too. That's one thing. You come to this world alone, you're going to die alone. Even if you have family, you're still going to die alone, right? Even if somebody's there with you, they could die, but you're dying alone by yourself. So at that point, like, you got to remember that. And I don't know, man, just keep moving, stay motivated as much as you possibly can. There's a lot of things that are going to bring you down in life. Trust me, my life's not been perfect. I've done bad things, which I'd like to, do better, I guess, and repent on. But, I've had a lot of bad things happen to me. And at that point, for me, it's just moving forward and saying, you know what, I can't do anything about this. I can do what I possibly can in life and just keep moving forward and do the best I possibly can for me and my family. So that's what I focus on. I think everybody should too. I think everybody should be about progression, and don't stop, and don't take people's no's, and keep moving forward.
Something I think, if nobody knows this, Johnny pushes me in a way about moments, about family moments, about the real memories and stuff like that. And it's great. When I first met him, you're a hustler. You work. What I mean that by is you are working 24. You and me are the same that way. We like Monday through Sunday.
Yep.
It's not 9 to 5. It's from the time we wake to the time we sleep. But you also do something that I was not good at. And it's friendship time. It's vacation time. It's those kind of moments that you really push me to go, yes, all this is great, but you still got to take those moments and create those bonds and moments with each other.
Sure.
And I think that's one thing that, like I said, it's not about just weightlifting. Johnny pushed me in something that I was, had to go back, and Mona and me talk about this all the time. It's like, holy cow, we just lost the last 5 years of our, from the lockdowns to now, it seems like a flash.
I know.
Just a flash. And how many vacations have we done and stuff like that? And so it's a great point that you say, it's all this, it's life, it's moments. You got to keep pushing. You can't sit back on the couch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's true too. I mean, listen, you got to have some sort of balance too, as well, right? I mean, and those times you take vacation, those are earned. So you're putting in a lot of work, you're earning that. And then you're going to go spend that time with your family, your friends, or whoever it is at that point. And you got to enjoy life too. Life's not just about work, right? And we want to work our ass off, and we want to do really good. So I'm not saying, you're going to be lazy and just taking all this time, but you got to take some time to yourself too, right? And whoever it is, even if you have a wife like me and Mike do, and kids and stuff like that, you got to show them some time too, right? You want to invest in them. Like, that's your family. That's who you care about. That's what you care about. And you got to show that person that you do care about them. And that's spending quality time. Material objects, they're great and all, but that's nothing. Like, if you try to buy somebody, it's not the same as when you spend time with that person and literally bond with that person. You're sharing those moments, you're sharing those trials and tribulations, and that's where the bond really comes into play. When you go through shit together and you come out, that really connects people. I mean, it does. If you've been through something bad with somebody and you guys have gotten through it, at that point, you're usually stronger for it. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. That is a fucking fact. Excuse my language. It really is. All those old sayings, I say it all the time, are so true. When you're a kid, you hear all this old sayings like, and you're like, they don't know what they're talking about. They do. They really do. And then we know that elder advice and experience, it's golden. It's valuable. If you hear some old guy telling you something and you think it's rubbish, I would listen up, because that old guy's been here a lot longer than you have and been through a lot more shit. And at that point, if they can give you some cheat codes and some experience tips, I would eat it up. For sure, 1,000,000%. There's things I tell these kids, like sometimes they come and tell me, man, some take it, some don't. And at that point, like I guarantee, like you will not have as hard of a letdown in some of these experiences or learn the hard lesson if you listen up.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I still listen to this day. Like somebody talks to me and they have more experience of what I'm doing or what I'm gonna do, and then at that point, I'm definitely listening to them, because that they've already been through it and they've already experienced it, and they can at least give me their experience on things, and then I can make a true educated decision about what I want to do and how I want to go about it.
It is funny that we go back to that a lot. We say that those old sayings are so true, and they are. You know,
They are.
it's, if you can, and I know again this is easy to say, hard for a lot of people to do, is listen to those statements, those cliches or quotes, or
this old guy's giving me a lecture. I don't want to hear this lecture.
I love old sayings.
The old sayings are so true. They really are. I don't care which one you go about. I mean, they are. I mean, they always come back to it, and it's always true. Always ends up being true. I'm like, damn, I should have listened to this from the beginning.
You get those aha moments. You're doing the dishes, and then you remember a conversation that has nothing to do with you doing dishes, and you're like, I get it now.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I was having a talk this morning with a gentleman at the gym, and he's great shape. And if I say his age, you'll assume he's old. He doesn't look old. He's 64 and looks like $1 million. And obviously he's training around 10 o'clock, so he's worth millions. But the point was, it's the long game. And I stated that I knew it came down to mileage. Mileage in the gym is what's going to end. And I know, listening to all the golden era guys before me, and then understanding what they did right, and then listening to what they did wrong, and then applying that at a young age, allowed me to do, again, today, go into the gym and move the whole gym. It's not because I listened today. It's because I listened when I was young. And so for anybody here that's in your 20s and 30s, I get that, these two are young. You're in the 30s and early 40s.
I'll be 40 next year.
Well, you're 39 right now?
I'm 39.
38.
I'll be 39 in August.
Okay.
But I'll be 40 next year.
Oh,
I got these
I don't really hear that.
I got this 25-year-old over here. So it's like,
I have
but they're
an
listening.
old soul, so I'm a little bit different.
That's a great thing to have.
I have an old
It's
soul. I'm a little bit different.
me too.
Let's jump into some questions, because I know that we're going to lose you. We have a director producer coming over to meet her. She's in Hollywood, and look at that. Look at that. Coming out. Trying to already team up and see what they can get her in, which is great.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Jeffrey, go some questions, would you?
Yeah, there's one about NAD. Let me find this one here.
It was, do I have to cycle dihexa and NAD? Yeah. You don't have to cycle dihexa and NAD. Two totally different things that you're going to be taking here. So
Can you tell us the two difference between these?
Sure. So NAD is a coenzyme that works. Dihexa is peptide. At that point, like, it works a little bit differently as far as, so dihexa is great for short-term memory, memory in full. It's good for neurodegenerative diseases. I mean, that's kind of where the overlap, I think, with NAD would be. But as far as NAD, like, in every living cell in the body, ATP it's just a totally different aspect. So with NAD, you might get more natural energy. You will get the brain function portion of it as far as mental clarity and such. It will give you, some protective components from neurodegenerative diseases. And dihexa is the exact same thing. Dementia, Alzheimer's, those are two things that those two will cover as far as that goes. But, dihexa is good for it's good for basically short-term, long-term memory and actually neurons processing the brain. So at that point, like I said, two totally different things. You only take dihexa usually 2 times a week. It's not something you would take every single day anyway. And NAD, you can take that on one day. You can take that on multiple days. You can take that every single day. So like I said, you shouldn't ever have to cycle dihexa or NAD. Now, if you're taking NAD every single day, that's great. But usually people are taking NAD 2 to 3 times a week. So if you're going to do that, if you're really worried about the cycle portion of it, I mean, you can literally take your NAD on Monday, dihexa on Tuesday, NAD on Wednesday, dihexa on Thursday, NAD on Friday, and so on. So you're never going to build up a tolerance or a desensitivity, or they're never going to X each other out or cancel each other out.
Okay, so that's great to hear, because that's one of those things I hear a lot of people saying they'd like to take the NAD a lot more. And
you can take NAD every single day. I mean, so there's no downside to taking NAD and wanting to take it every single day at a daily dose. I mean, do I?
We lost Johnny for a second. But as we do this, he's back. He's back. Sorry, kid. We lost you for a second there.
I don't know what
Will
happened.
you a little freeze?
Sure.
Will you go back over that real quick?
As far as NAD and dihexa?
We got the concept that you can take the two.
Yep.
And there's no problem with taking the NAD consistently.
Yep.
And just the basic dose, right?
Yeah. So basically, you would take a daily dose of NAD, and that could be 100 milligrams a day if you really wanted to, right? It's usually between 50 and 100 milligrams for somebody. Now, you could take that every day. As far as getting an IV of 500 milligrams or 1,000 milligrams every day of NAD, I wouldn't do that. It's way too much. So I would stick with the daily dose. If you want to do NAD every single day, it's no problem. And it's not going to do anything as far as dihexa. It's not going to cancel them out. You're not going to have any problems. You're going to get only benefits if you want to take both of them.
Love it. Love it. Again,
yeah. And I take both of those.
Not just the mind. You do.
Yes. Dihexa I'm taking twice a week. NAD I'm taking at least 3 times a week right now.
I love that. I love knowing
Other days I fluctuate and I'll take glutathione on the other days and I'm not taking NAD. So I'm not having to give myself as many shots. I still, do a lot of shots a day. So at that point, I try to limit it to, try to go underneath like 7 shots a day if I possibly can. There's some days I might reach up to 10. So, you feel like a human pincushion after, so many years of doing this, but it is what it is. The best thing about it is that somebody say, well, you know what, John, that's a lot of injections. Like, I don't want to do all those injections. And that's fine. But the reason I do the injections is not to do the injections. It's to get the benefits from the injections. And that's where somebody really starts noticing things and understanding it, is when they start taking it and they start getting those benefits. And like, all right, what else you got? What else you got? And then at that point, you can start benefiting from multiple different injections. You're talking about, even when I wake up, it's, there's different things like Tight and Complete I'm taking right off the bat. Might be taking my HCG that day. I'm taking some different things like maybe glutathione or NAD. And then you're talking about workouts. You're talking about Hercules Potion. You're talking about anywhere from 4 to 6 injections right there. And then later that night might be tesamorelin, might be some more IGF-1, and then maybe some Titan Serenity. So, it can start adding up in some injections, but like I said, you get all the benefits and you really do feel optimal. So when you start really feeling good, you're like, all right, this is okay. Right. I mean, because when you stop, you don't feel as good. I hear that all the time from people like, man, like I really did notice a difference with taking that injectable, because when I stopped, because I was taking it for 3 or 4 months and then I felt like I wasn't getting anything out of it. And then when I stopped, then I'm like, oh, like I really was getting something out of this. Better go back on this. And that's just what it is. So, I mean, you really do feel the benefits if you do get off. And that's a true test, right? If it was just a placebo, you wouldn't feel any different. But at that point, when you do get off of some of these injectables or you don't use them, like Hercules Potion, like if you train without Hercules Potion and you go train with Hercules Potion, you're going to notice a difference. Are the training sessions going to be as good afterwards? Probably not. And you're probably going to want to use Hercules Potion for every training session you do. Have I trained without Hercules Potion just to test the theory? Absolutely. I've been in something saying, well, you know what? I'm just going to go train real quick. I don't feel like drawing my needles. So, if I'm on the road, especially like today, like I will do my Hercules Potion today for sure. But there have been some days where I'm like, all right, let me just get in there and go get it done. So, I'll go down there and work out. I'm like, man, I'm not as pumped as I was on my Hercules, or it didn't last as long. So, I always wanted to do that. And then the effects after with recovery and such, you definitely, like I said, you definitely notice a difference when you're taking things or when you're not.
Yeah, I agree. All
For
right,
sure.
you two, we got a
All
good
right.
one here.
Should I work through tendonitis? So, I mean, I think that you should be careful. I don't think you should push, with tendonitis. I think you should try to take care of it like you can, inflammation and such. But I mean, can you work through it? Yes. You want to get blood to the area. You want that thing to work out. So I just wouldn't go heavy on those areas right off the bat. You have to warm up. Maybe do some other things like PPC or TB500 would definitely help with tendonitis. I've got some of my arms too as well. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Been injured a few times when I had to wrestle. So I kind of like try to power through it, but I also try to protect myself and not push myself too hard. Kind of like
Right.
work smarter, not harder in a
Right.
sense. But even sometimes when I'm at the gym and I have like aches and pains and I go through those times, like I don't want to overexert myself to make my injury last more longer. I kind of want to be able to heal, but like you definitely got to get your rest in. Try to take like inflammation to calm it down. Baby step in it before you go back into the big weights.
It's an interesting, because you said you try. You don't get. That's the problem with wrestling.
Yeah.
You don't get to take it easy.
No.
No
You get
recovery.
owie, you get it banged up. You're
Yeah.
still on the road. You're still doing the stuff.
Yeah.
And so I think metaphorically, if somebody like this is working a 9 to 5 and you can moderately make it through the tendonitis, yeah, be intelligent about it. Obviously, there's some peptides that you can take to help with that and the recovery, and then try to still force blood into that location. It's a tough situation to be like in her shoes,
Yeah.
where you have to go and continue to wrestle, or Billy, and again, neither of these two are 20 years old, but I can't fathom, honestly, Billy still running with the kids and doing this stuff like he does.
He's a whole animal.
Billy, I can't. I mean, dude, you're 6 years old, like
He's another animal.
Yeah,
that's
he's
serious.
even. It's cool to hear legends talk about a legend.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Kevin Nash or Big Show or Steve Austin talk about Billy. It's a cool thing to see. And then for me, I go, well, that's one human that can do this. That gives me hope.
Right.
You know how everybody else kind of looks at everybody and goes, this is what a 30-year-old should look like.
Yeah.
Well, not to me.
Right.
My 30-year-old is the guys that are moving and the champion strongman. That's who my 30-year-old is. Right. And so again, to most people, they're like, well, I look good for my age. I don't want to be around those people.
I hate that. I hate that comment. You look good for your age. Well, no, I look good in general. That's what I want. I look good in general. That's what I was saying. Like put an age on it. It's like, I mean, yeah, you can compare it. I'm 50 and you're 30. Look, I kick your ass in the way I look. Right. And that says something. Right. But, in general, like, well, I look good for my age. Like my mom says all the time, like, I look good for a 70-year-old. I'm like, Mom, you look good in general. Right. Like, don't compare yourself to 70-year-olds. So,
people say that Robbie looks good for his age. No, Robbie looks good for a 20-year-old. Robbie Robinson, who's 80 years old, looks good for a 20-year-old.
Yeah.
right.
Stop saying he's 1 in 8 billion people. It's like, I wish people would take the small percentages of someone that's done it relative to the mass that just goes through life.
Yeah. That's it.
One more, and then we'll let you dismiss off into the Hollywood production meeting. Jeffrey, you got one more for us?
Yeah, I remember when I blew my knee one time in a match and my adrenaline was just kicking, but I'm like, okay, we're just going to work the head and I'm going to roll out. Just finish it up.
How long were you out after that?
So I was out for at least 6-7 months, which typically takes someone about 9 months to a year. So I guess they call it the unhappy triad. So the ACL, MCL, metal meniscus.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah. But I went through like extensive training to get back.
I love it.
Yeah.
Rehabilitation.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no atrophy in your legs today by looking at your physique and stuff, which I
Definitely
think is
not.
great. Which is great.
You think that?
Yeah.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah, no, you got good legs. You're strong in those areas for sure. 100%.
Yeah. I feel like I'm much stronger now than I was before, but I actually like the older me now than back then.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like
me
that.
too.
This is
All
a
right,
good
John Saka. I'm on TRT, but I don't gain muscle. I'm 40. So being on TRT doesn't necessarily mean you're going to gain muscle. You have a healthy.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
I know.
This is a trick question,
I know. Muscle in a bottle. Let me sell muscle in a bottle.
right?
So this is, guys. This is
the mentality.
stereotype.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm going to take testosterone and I'm going to get big because I take testosterone, put on a whole bunch of muscle. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't. If you have a healthy testosterone level, and you probably did when you were 20, you just didn't gain muscle because you had a healthy testosterone level. You can get a healthy testosterone level by doing testosterone replacement, but this does not do anything for you. So we obviously know that if you want to build muscle, you got to eat, you got to train, you got to sleep, you got to drink water, you got to do these essential things that we talk about every single time when you might get together. These are essential for building muscle. Being on testosterone replacement might help a little bit with like muscle protein synthesis and recovery, but we're talking about you having to put in the work to break down the muscle so it can build to make more muscle and get bigger and stronger. So you got to do those essential things. And if you're doing those essential things, you're saying, I'm still not gaining muscle, and there must be some underlying issue there. But at this point, like if you're generally healthy and you're not gaining no muscle, you're taking testosterone, make sure everything's dialed in, optimal level, all the other hormones are dialed, and put in the work and eat. You got to eat to grow. It's like anything else.
What do you say?
No, I totally agree. You gotta get your protein in. You gotta get your intake. You gotta push yourself. Yeah.
You got to eat in general. You got to get the calories in. You got to get these different things like proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. And at that point, you got to train your ass off, not 2-pound dumbbells. I'm going to do this every single time I go in, 3 sets of 10, and I'm walking out of the gym. You got to go in there with the mentality that I'm going to put in work and I'm going to gain muscle. I want to gain muscle. You got to want to do it first. A lot of people carry themselves in the gym. They don't want to be there. They don't want to do this. They're thinking, I'm just going to go through the motions and I'm going to get the body of my dreams. It doesn't work like that. You got to be focused on what you want. If you really want it, you'll go in there and you keep working your ass off and you'll get it. But if you keep walking in there with the half-ass attitude that I don't really want to be here and I'm just going to go through the motions for 30 minutes and I'm going to gain muscle and lose a whole bunch of fat, you probably ain't going to get the best results.
Yeah. Maybe they could also surround themselves with individuals that will push them too.
Well, listen, birds of a feather flock together, right?
Yeah.
So
like Mona pushes.
You know what I'm saying?
Mona pushes everybody.
I love it though. I love it.
Yeah. You want people that push you. You don't want people that are like, oh, it's okay, like, or be complacent or just go along with everything you say. Those are the people you do not want around you. Those are the bad people. It's the people that will check you and call you out on your shit that you want around you. That's why I married Therese. Every other girl is lay down. Do anything I say, do anything I want. That's great.
That's why
I need somebody that's gonna call me out or like, hey, listen, this is not right. I need somebody that's gonna be there and be some sort of in Italian, like a consigliere. I need somebody that I can talk to and is going to give me an honest opinion about what I need to do instead of, oh yeah, you're right. Like, great, but I might not be right. And it might not be a good thing. So, I think that's the other thing. You like, just like somebody that wants to stop doing drugs. You don't hang around with the same crew that you were doing drugs. You isolate yourself and go with somebody totally different, total opposite spectrum of what you want to be. Whatever you want to be, you go and flock towards those people that are the best in that area. If you want to be a good wrestler, I hit up like Nat by nature. I hit up Nat, but hey, Nat, I want to be a female wrestler. I want to do this. Like, what can I do? How can I do this? Right? If you want to be a professional, bodybuilder or power man, strong man, you go to whoever that guy is. And that could be Mike or somebody else that you think that is your fancy in that area. Basketball player, whatever. So, that's what I would say. Like, you gotta go towards those people that are going to help you get to your goal and have your best. No, I guess maybe not always your best, but they're going to help you get to that goal. They're going to give the best information and have the best resources. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
Thanks for hanging out.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. It's awesome seeing you,
guys have
Renee.
fun.
Good luck. Good luck.
Of course.
I'm going to jump back onto that last one, though, too, is just so anybody and everybody else understands this. It's not a fix-all. You're making yourself healthy on the inside by making sure that your levels are at a proper amount so where you can optimize your body, right? And you're being healthy. It still goes back to Johnny made a great point, and it's so true. We were all 18 at one time. We were all 22 at one time, and so what was it? Why weren't you in that crazy shape at that age? Your testosterone was fine, so don't assume because you do TRT, or here's the worst of it, because you do a heavy dose of steroids, do you think that you're going to be jacked? It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. And I wish people would understand that before they damage their bodies to the point where they do damage their bodies.
Right.
It goes back to what Johnny said. You're going to have to eat. You're going to have to train. You're going to have to put in that work. It just doesn't wake up one day. Hey, I took something. I should be jacked tomorrow. Come on.
It's not out yet. Not yet. I know they're working on it.
Coming.
It's in phase 2 trials right now. So it's really close, guys. It's close, but still, even with that, like, you're not just going to take it and you're just going to put muscle on you. You're going to have to put in work. Muscle just doesn't develop. Like, maybe down in the future, Mike, they probably will have something that comes out. You'll probably be able, like CRISPRs right now, where you can like literally change somebody's DNA by an injection. That's already out. So it's not like this is unseen, like science fiction. It probably will happen, but it's not there yet. And you better start working your ass off, because even if it comes out, you're going to have a lot of money to probably get it right in the beginning. So, that's not an every average day person. And that might not be the healthiest route. We have no idea even what that's going to, come to, I guess, as far as health wise and how healthy you're going to be. And is it going to be safe for everybody? So I would just work on doing the right thing, and doing the right thing is training, eating correctly, sleeping, drinking water. And then at that point, using these tools. If you have low testosterone, then great. Get testosterone replacement therapy. Make sure you're monitored, doing it the right way, and then be able to utilize some of these great natural peptides. They're going to work with your body to get you where you want to go, possibly, and help you dig away, right? Like, so it's all about being able to use the right tool for the right job, and knowing what the right tool is, and being professional about doing it. So, that's the whole thing about it.
Any advice on building a chest after I've had a tear?
Make sure you're healed. And at that
I'm
point,
assuming, right. I'm guessing this was years ago, and he's back to it. But yeah, definitely let us know. Obviously, you're healed up and ready to go. But you just trained intelligently again. Maybe a little smarter. I don't know your form or anything like that, so I can't really give you suggestion about the form you use. Again, chest. I think upper chest is more important than lower chest. Less chances of issues, and longer. But that's my 2 takes. What's yours, Johnny?
Yeah, I think start slow. Make sure the form is good. Start working up on the weight, and progression overload. And at that point, just keep working. Be smart about what you're doing. Try to work maybe every angle of the chest if you can. I mean, decline's good, incline's good. Do some flat. But at that point, like, just be smart about what you're doing. Obviously, listen, if it's torn there once, you're at a higher risk for a tear for a second time. So at that point, be smart about what you're doing. Make sure that everything's fully recovered. Make sure that you're like I said, starting slow and then you're working your way up. But I think form is going to be everything. Make sure somebody's there for you, and at that point, make sure you're comfortable. Just keep moving up. I mean, that's the best thing. All right. I've been dieting down for some time now, and the calorie deficit is making everything unsustainable. My anger issues are out of control. I'm ruining relationship with friends and family. Any advice? Wow. Calorie deficit, I guess, can make you angry, but for how long and to this extent, I don't know, man. Like, I've never seen anybody going. I mean, listen, I've seen a lot of people go into calorie deficit and be cranky. People get cranky when they need food. That's just a natural thing with the body, right? It starts saying, listen, I need it. And at that point, like, things start going down the tubes. But at that point, like, maybe you should start getting some calories in. Why are you in such a calorie deficit? How long have you been in for such a calorie deficit? Because it says, I've been dieting down for some time now. What does that mean? Does that mean a year, 2 years, whatever it is? I think you need to get control on the food and then the training at that point.
Yeah. Again, a proper diet is 3 months. That's the length of the longest you should go. So you got 12 weeks. And usually you can get through the first 4 weeks of the diet with no issues. Yes, obviously being in a calorie deficit for a lot of people, including me, you get a little edgy and stuff as the diet goes on. But again, you're down to the last 8 weeks of that. And the really extreme is that last 4 weeks. So at that point, you're pulling away from, that's why bodybuilding is such a hard sport, because you got to pull away for those last 4 weeks. And then you're back out of it and you're good again for the next year. So I bypassed it. Johnny said everything correctly. Is like, you're not dieting down for a year. So it shouldn't get to the point where it's, ending a relationship or anything like that. So
Right.
Make sure that anybody here too, dieting is hard. But diet correctly, do the 12 weeks and then you're back out of there. Do not try to stay in a deficit, and do not do this 6 month or a year deficit. That's just not, there's nothing out there that can benefit you from dieting for a year. You're traumatizing your body already for 12 weeks. And then try to heal it. If you're always in a deficit, I can't fathom that. I can't fathom not just the personality changes, but the damage you're doing to your body by never recovering.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't stay. I definitely would do that. I'm 51 years old and starting to struggle in the gym because of arthritis. Can you recommend what foods or supplements I should definitely taking? Obviously, BPC 157, TB 500 for this, for sure. I've got arthritis all throughout my arm, my shoulder. That's the worst. Plus, I need a total shoulder replacement, and it gives me some great relief. Obviously, listen, I know it's hard. You start not wanting to go to the gym when you're in pain, because you're like, man, I'm going to go work out. I'll be in pain afterwards. So you got to try to eat some, I don't know how your diet looks. I would look at, good foods, anti-inflammation foods, some good antioxidant foods. Obviously hitting your protein goals and all that. So I would stay away from things that cause inflammation in the body, because that could flare up arthritis even more.
Yeah, I agree with Johnny. Obviously, there's nutrition. Your nutrition's on point where you're causing less inflammation. You've got to keep training. We know this. Arthritis, the best thing for arthritis is blood flow, movement.
Yep.
So you have to keep training. That is not a no-go. But BPC, TB 500, again, peptides. And also, there's some other peptides as well. I think it was like the glutathione can bring down inflammation a bit. NAD possibly is. There's some good things that also bring down inflammation, which again, inflammation is you really feel the arthritis at that point. So, and then nutrition. I would just go on the lean plan for the Titan meal plan. And start getting in really good shape at 51. It's time to do it. Get some of that extra fat off there. get in the best shape of your life right now. Make the move. That way, you're moving better, you're grooving better, and the arthritis is more manageable. And again, for anybody here, at some point in your life, hopefully you live long enough to where, unfortunately, everybody's going to have some type of arthritis. But minimize it.
Question. I've been consistently taking pre-workout for about 8 years and love the beta-alanine and creatine effect. Is there any negative side effects, and do you take a pre-Mike? So, I mean, listen, those two things are great. What else is in the pre-workout, though? That's what we got to ask. We got to look at that. We got to look at the ingredient list and see what else are you taking in there. Because these two things are great, and you can take these two things by themselves. So if you're looking for just these two things, and that's awesome. If you're looking for a stimulant factor, I mean, I would look at our ECA Stack Plus, real ephedrine, caffeine, aspirin, B12, and chromium, and no other fillers, no other garbage. And you're not like going crazy over what your daily dose for stimulant should be that day. And I think it would be a great effect if you add in the beta-alanine and creatine and maybe some branch chains and stuff like that. Maybe Hercules Potion. I think that, you have a winner there, and you don't have to worry about taking it for a long extended period of time and having any negative side effects too.
I'm with Johnny on that. Nothing else.
Yeah, that one's pretty good. Burpees? I don't do them. Mike, you do burpees?
No, absolutely not.
Why not, Mike?
Absolutely not.
What do you mean?
So you're doing burpees for what reason? For cardiovascular, to stay athletic? I wrestle and do jiu-jitsu. So I'm moving and grooving in that sense. And then the lifting, again, for me is I want stress to the body, not so much cardiovascular stress in the sense of burpees or running, just because of mileage.
It's a lot of mileage.
Yeah.
Go from a jump into a push-up and repeat this over and over and over. I think there's
not much upside. There's not much upside to that. And so, like, as a father, I'm trying to think of all the analyzation of what sports can help him just in life. And then if he decides to be an athlete of some sort, where it can help. Well, I remove soccer quickly because that's just
cardiovascular.
It's great cardiovascular, but there's not many skills that the soccer for me, I see a benefit compared to, good footwork. Well, Taekwondo and karate would be better, and it could help in life in general. So that's going to be that. And less mild. Burpees or calisthenics. No, not really. I'd rather him learn to move his body through manipulation and judo and jiu-jitsu so he could, again, later on in life. So a lot of those things go into play. So the burpee concept is I don't want that kind of torque on my body.
Yeah. So then somebody goes, burpees are beneficial for functional strength.
In no world is that functional strength.
Functional? I mean, I guess if you got to drop down and you're in a war, you're worried about people shooting at you. I mean, you got to drop.
This is a new fad. Yeah, this is a new fad that you're going to see on social media. This will be the echo of the unintelligent that read something. It's the cop out. Yeah, weightlifting is function. So let's not do the whole burpees as functional training.
You were talking about mileage.
Yeah, I already talked.
Is that the function of a burpee, to increase mileage over time?
No, sorry. This is. I appreciate you pulling this up. This will be an echo over the next couple of years until they come up with going. It's just the most basic stuff is functional training. Weightlifting is functional training. So let's remove that concept. But again, it's the small guy or the cardiovascular guy that goes, no, this is a badass thing. All right, take a 280-pound man and throw him up over your shoulders. That's a powerful thing.
That's functional. You got to lift somebody out of a fire and pick them up. That's functional to me. Real world scenarios. If you can, do that. That's key.
Now, with all that being said, if you like it, cool. Have fun with it. I'm not a fan of that kind of torque compared to a hip toss or something.
Mhm.
Superstar, right? All right. I'm pretty excited. I get to see a clip from the movie I did. Do you remember the name?
Sensor addiction.
Sensor Addiction. They're still editing it, but the director is here, and I get to see
Oh,
a nice
nice.
clip from this. And I think that the burpees really help my functional strength get ready for this movie, and it really helped me. Yeah, did a lot of burpees in the movie, and the throws and the Superman punches.
I mean, functionality. I mean, what you're doing, like American Gladiators, that's that's real world, like right there. Right? Burpee's not going to prepare you for something like that. So, yeah, I gotta agree
John,
with you.
that's toxic. Come on now. What would I know? What would I know about doing just American Gladiators and beating 6 guys a day in fights? Yeah, it's
You know
real
what I'm saying?
functional training.
Yeah, that's real functional. That's real life. So,
Give us
yeah.
one banger, Jeffrey. Give us a banger. Johnny, do you see something that you like as well? If you like, that's a good
blood
one.
working consult with Titan last week. 56 years old, 5'10", 180 pounds at 10% body fat. I consume 120 grams of protein, 400 grams of carbs, 50 grams of fats, mostly PB with salmon and eggs. How do I get to the next level of 10 more pounds of solid muscle? All right.
Wow.
So, I mean, I guess, listen, what I would look at right here is, and Mike, you're going to be able to dive into this as well, is listen, 56 years old. I don't know what happened in the consult. Hopefully, if you had low T or want to optimize that gets optimized. I would throw in maybe a couple different other, like maybe therapies that could help you along the way. But I mean, just eating, Mike is probably going to say, listen, maybe a gram and a half of protein per pound of body weight that he has right now, maybe up that. And then, as far as that goes, I don't know how the training's going. So at that point, maybe up the training, but 10 more pounds of solid muscle. I mean, I would say a GHRH for sure, growth releasing hormone peptide to go along with it. But I would like to see like the blood work and everything like that before I start saying like, hey, you should do this and this and that. I'm just throwing out ideas of what could possibly, help or benefit anybody out there. GHRH for sure, making sure testosterone levels are there, sure. Hercules potion for sure. And at that point, like I said, the eating portion, I think getting that and the training done, and I think, maybe 1 to 2 years, you'd have 10 solid pounds of real lean muscle mass. Maybe shorter, but they say 5 pounds a year. That's what it is. Do I think you can up that? Yes. Do I think it might be 10? Maybe in between 5 and 10. You could probably do.
Curious though, for you, I'm going to assume that his body is functioning incredibly well. Man,
At 10% body fat? Absolutely.
I'm not going off the body fat. I'm going off the carbohydrate utilization.
Oh, yeah. 400 grams a lot.
Think about
Good
that.
amount.
That's a cup of oatmeal 6 to 8 times a day. Think about that. How many people do that? Most people that I know, 3 cups of oatmeal, which is 150 grams, is like a lot for somebody in their 30s and 40s. Now we're talking about a guy that's 56. Is that right? Did I see that?
56. Yeah, you're right.
Body is utilizing 400 grams. Wow. Good job, Mark. That is incredible. And then to also have a 10% body fat. I'm hoping, the only thing I would say I'm hoping that there is not a tremendous amount of training going along with this. That's the only thing I would say I worry about. You're 56, you got great body fat level, even slightly low.
Yeah.
But 400 grams of carbs, I'm hoping you're like Mona, where she can eat a large amount of carbohydrates and her body naturally burns it off because it's functioning correctly, compared to, I worry about like the CrossFitters that are training 2 hours a day, 6 days a week, and that's what's burning off the calories, not their body.
Mhm.
So there is a difference between those two aspects. Your body can function off of a maintenance program where Mona can eat 200 grams of carbs without training, just her natural lifestyle, which is great. Then if you add lifestyle to it, then she can up the calories. But wow, these numbers are incredible. I'm proud of you. I don't know many people in their 20s that can handle 400 grams of carbohydrates. But yeah, the thing that just jumps out is that your protein is extremely low and your fats are extremely low. Your fats, we know that it should be around 100 just to have a sexual activity and be healthy in that sense, and brain function. And then your protein should be just tremendously higher, to put on muscle. Because Johnny said a good point. There's always been these studies since the 70s and 80s, 5 pounds of muscle, but that's also for a guy in their prime.
Right.
And 56 is in nobody's prime.
Right.
So again, it's great numbers. Mark, I'm a fan. I'm a fan off of this.
And the other thing about that study is those people were not on testosterone. But when they did that study, that was just a natural guy, like supposed to be a natural guy that they were doing those studies on. So at that point, I think testosterone will definitely help as far as if it's optimized, right? To be able to do, to really help you to do it. And I think the other things like the growth hormone releasing hormone peptides too as well will definitely expedite some more muscle growth and cells as far as growing. So, I think there's some different tools. I think that you can expedite a little bit more muscle growth than 5 pounds a year of lean muscle mass if it's done correctly.
I think this is the guy that could do it.
Yeah.
This guy here, Mark, he's eating like that. He's at that percentage and he's that focused. He'll crush that. He'll put that 10 pounds on. No problem.
Test was at a high 800, but free T was low. Was prescribed TX. I don't know what TX is. I'm sorry. I train 5 days a week, 1 hour, and active personal trainer. Sleep 8.5 hours a night. Appreciate you. That's awesome. The sleep too. I mean, if you can track that sleep and find out how much REM sleep you're getting out of there and deep. I mean,
here's a great thing. He did the blood work. So regardless of the 800, which is a great number, he did the blood work and he knows that the I guess you would say the nozzle of the gas tank to the engine isn't functioning great. And so if he fixes this, which he obviously will, boom, and he takes his protein up, this guy's got 10 pounds within the year easily.
Honestly, he takes his protein up, he's going to be solid. I mean, that was the only thing I really see on there.
IGF and his free testosterone goes up, and he's utilizing his T levels, and this guy's gold. Yeah, touch base with Johnny over at Titan Medical. He already talked to them, right? He already talked to somebody.
You already did the consult and everything. Listen, I'll be back. I'm out in North Carolina until Thursday night. I'll be in the office probably Friday.
Get a before and after this guy.
Get
a before and after, because he's Mark already. You look great. Will you do that? Will you do a before and after? Because I'd like a shot of you now, and then in 1 year from now, I guarantee you're 10 pounds more muscle.
Please, I'd love to do this. 56 years old too. That's people that I want to show for sure, 100%.
And look at him. Look at the photo, man. Yeah. That's somebody you can't. He looks great. He looks great, man.
Yeah, he does. He does look really, really, really good.
Mark, I'm a fan, brother. Please do that stuff for us. And we got the back. Jeffrey, nice job on that one. Hey,
that's good, Jeff.
We're gonna clip this one too, because this is a great discussion that we had with you, Mark. Thank you so much for being part of this and asking these questions. And hopefully with me and Johnny here today, this helped you kind of game plan your next year.
Yeah. I want to see those gains, Mark. I want to see those gains.
Well, Johnny, thank you so much, man, for hanging, brother. I know you're out of town. I look forward to hearing how things are going and stuff. And you message me later today, would you?
For sure. Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Go try to get my training today too as well.
Nice job also staying consistent with being out of town, but taking peptides with you, staying on protocol. training,
Yes.
eating. I know that it's on point.
Oh my God, I've been eating grilled chicken breast from STK. We're gonna get a steak later, but I've been eating grilled chicken breast. It's the best thing I can get out here. So I'm like, all right. STK is good. And I got their kids chicken. Their kids chicken was $23. So I'm like, all
I
right,
know
great.
it's good because Mona says it's good.
You know what I'm saying?
Mona knows. Mona knows restaurants.
Yeah, no, STK is good for sure. So, but I'll talk to you later, brother. All right.
Thanks, my man. Hey guys, thanks for hanging out again. And I think that was awesome, this last one with Mark. And we'll definitely clip that just because I think it's so beneficial for everybody else to see somebody who set themselves up in the right way. And